Okay, class, today we're going to talk about the footer. Footer is going to work the same way as the header, but at this point it's going to be a little easier because we don't have to compete with the nav and fitting the nav into our footer layout. So what I have open is my live link to my WordPress site, my dashboard, and then I also went into my FTP. I'm in CyberDuck, and I'm going to go under my WordPress content, into my themes, into my child theme, and in here I'm going to now add my footer.php. So if you remember here back in Illustrator, I kind of showed this example of we have our parent theme that we downloaded, and we're going to be overriding the parent theme with our footer now. So far we overrode our header, our style sheet, and now we're going to do our footer. So I'm going to move this over to here. I'm going to make a new footer, and we are going to colorize this to be not like that, to be cyan. So you can see how we're still going to be using a lot of the original files, but some of it we are overriding with our footer. So let's go back. I'm going to hide Illustrator, and I already coded this in my HTML. So I just made a regular HTML page in brackets, and I figured out how I'm going to code my footer. It's going to look something like this. So when I preview it, you can see, this is, again, not worried. I did this not even thinking really about WordPress yet. But down at the bottom, I want this border, and then I want a background image with these 3 columns. So in the burrito would have the burrito information. In the salsa, I'll put salsa. And then in social media, I'll put my links. So I'm going to minimize that. And I'm going to come over here. And I'm working in CyberDuck. So what I can do is right-click or control-click and make a new file. And I'm going to call it footer.php. Now you might be able to duplicate, if you're in Fetch, you might be able to duplicate the header and then just change the content in it. I'm going to open the footer now in brackets. So what we need to add here is I'm going to add my footer content. So I'm going to put right in this guy what I had planned here from my original. So I'm going to copy and paste that in. And then there is just a little bit that we're going to need to actually include here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and I'll give you this file, but I'm going to go back and kind of show you that what we're overriding is this original footer. And where's that original footer? Right here. And I'll give you this file. So it has, some of this in it I'm going to take. So we need a bit of PHP at the top that kind of says this is the footer. And then I'm also going to just include this bottom part. You don't really need anything in that middle. And save. So what we're keeping is the top that's just saying this is the footer, and then we have to include this little bit on the bottom. Now what this does is it's closing a div, and it's actually closing something that's in the head. If you remember, we had a div called site, and I think it was called site and open it and see. So it's actually closing this, site and page. That's what it's closing all the way on the bottom here. And then this is really important. This is what's saying that this is the WordPress footer. So that has to be there for this to work. And then we're actually closing our whole page by doing close body and close HTML. Now it looks red only because brackets doesn't know where the top of this is. So I'm going to save that, and now I'm going to go over to my WordPress site and see what it updated. So I'm going to do a hard refresh and scroll down to my bottom. And here you can see that I have a broken image and then I have my burrito salsa social and copyright. Now it doesn't have style yet because I need to add my styles to my style sheet. So I'm going to open my style sheet from CyberDuck and I'm going to add my styles that I already created when I coded this. So if I go back into my sheet, I can see I just want to take this bottom. So when I'm coding, we're still using HTML and CSS. But we need to include some more content. All right, I'm going to put that in. I need to substitute this image with my media file. So I'm going to go back to my dashboard, go to my media, and I uploaded that border already. Right here. And paste that in. Oops, this is the background image actually. That's not the border. So hold on, I have the wrong one. So in the footer, I think I have, this is where it needs to go. This is the border. And then I have the other image is this background image, which needs to go in the CSS. So you still have to kind of put your code back together. So I have to swap out both of my images, one that's in HTML and one that's in the CSS. I'm going to hit save on both of these and then preview. Remember to always do a hard refresh, so you're going to hold down Shift and hit the refresh button. There we go. So now I have that background image in. You can see I have to add a little padding to move this down and add what the burrito and salsa is, but we're getting there. It looks pretty decent. I can see that footer. Now, what you can see up above is because it already has a footer in it. It looks like maybe it's repeating, so we'll have to get rid of that. But that's in the home. We'll worry about that next. And then we'll have to also do the responsive. So I can see it looks fine on tablet, but I want it to stack on mobile. So don't forget that we need to still add our responsive media queries. So what I did down here is I just changed this one. And I made a side be 100% instead of 3 columns. So now I'll just work with my code and make sure the footer looks good at all 3 sizes.